Krishna Krishna Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtyadeshatarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtyadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gora Bhaktavinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gora Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna. So again, dear devotees, thank you for joining us today. Wonderful to see so many of you. We're going to begin with reading a few stories about Guru Maharaj. If you would like to read today, if you're available, please raise your hands. Okay, give you a word. Um, Girdhari Gupta? Girdhari Gupta.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna Mataji.
Dhanutana. Yeah. I'll read from here.
Yes, please, from the top.
Hare Krishna. Radha Swami's lessons in leadership. During a press conference, former tennis great Billie Jean King was asked how she dealt with the pressure. And she responded, pressure is a privilege. It only comes to those who have earned it. This quote is one of my favorites, but it's nonetheless hard when pressure gets on your nerves. I remember my husband and I were called upon to take a major responsibility some years ago. Bhakti Rasamrita Swami, the charmistic leader who developed a flourishing congregation of thousands in Belgium, India. In Belgaum, India, had moved out of Belgaum to answer an emergency elsewhere. The congregation, desperate for a leader, approached us. But how could my husband and I, even when put together, match the leadership caliber of Bhakti Rasamrita Swami? Fretful, I awaited an opportunity to seek the guidance of my Guru Radhanath Swami before accepting the offer. In my 70 odd years in this world, I have often learnt lessons in the most informal settings. And this time I learned one on a walkway. My daughter in law and I were on a stroll. Suddenly we spotted Radhanath Swami walking out of Vrindavan forest, his favorite garden in Mumbai, unaccompanied. Hare Krishna. Unaccompanied, my daughter-in-law probed me to grab this opportunity to discuss out the Belgaum issue. So I walked to Radhanath Swami and burst out, I am scared. Are you scared of me? He first faked a quizzical look before his body rocked in laughter. Even this initial exchange lifted half the pressure off me. No, I replied, I am scared of taking up a leadership position. I then went on to explain him my situation. In this conversation that followed, he explained how leadership is about becoming a servant of those we lead. It is about giving love to those we lead. It is all about being the best we can be for the welfare of those we lead. So just be yourself, he concluded. Don't try to impress, but give love. The conversation lifted off all the remaining pressure. Kritida Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for reading. Such a wonderful lesson straight away for all of us from Guru Maharaj. How to remain in the mood of a servant and don't try to impress. Amala Bhakti Rani Mataji, would you like to continue, please?
Yes, yeah. Um, the Festival of Inspiration is held in Appalachian foothills of West Virginia during the delightful mid-spring season, filled with inspiring lectures, seminars, workshops, entertainment, and dramas. It has become one of the most spiritually inspirational and motivational events of North America. For this year's festival, I too had joined in. Radhanath Swami was at the festival as every year. I had been hearing a lot about him, but we had never met, though both of us are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON. The day he arrived, as we were crossing each other in the hallway of the guest house, he stopped. After studying my eyes, he declared, "Let me tell you the last time I saw you." His eyeballs rolled up and his index finger shot up as he strained his memory. Silent moments passed. I was gathering words to convey that it was unlikely that he had ever seen me before. When he interrupted my thoughts, it was Pittsburgh. After a few seconds' break, he continued, 1972, you were on stage. You were putting up a drama before Srila Prabhupada at Syrian Mosque. That was 38 years ago, and still he remembered me. My mouth dropped, my eyes filled with tears, and my heart bustled with the joy of meeting an old friend. I suddenly felt close to him. He embraced me. All I can say is Radhanath Swami's personification of personalism. When he sees people, he sees amongst them every individual person. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. The story was by Chandra Shikhar Prabhu. Mataji Lakshmi Jayat, Pittsburgh, your place. Um, Janki Vinod Prabhu,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Radhanath saw me while walking through the courtyard. This happened in 2000. My daughter, age 6, played with her friends in the courtyard of Radha Gopinath temple, while my wife and I socialized in a nearby garden. Radhanath saw me while passing through the courtyard, stopped right in front of my daughter, his face radiating a smile and his fingers pointing to her. He announced to no one in particular, "She is my friend." Then he walked away. My little daughter felt assured that Adana Swami knew her and loved her. Her confidence in that relationship wouldn't diminish despite any second interaction with him for years. My wife and I were amused by her childish innocence. Radhana Swami might have passed that remark to thousands just to make them feel good. How could he know all of them, let alone love all of them? But we didn't have the heart to disappoint her. In 2010, one Sunday, my daughter, now 16, talked with her friends in the courtyard of Radha Gopinath temple. While my wife and I socialized in a nearby garden, Radhana Swami, while passing through the courtyard, stopped. Okay, in front of my daughter, his face radiating a smile and his fingers pointing to her. He announced to no one in particular, "She is my friend." Then he walked away. Now, even we felt assured that Radhana Swami knew our daughter and loved her. How unambiguously had he conveyed the feelings of his heart to a child through just a little interaction, and how wonderfully was the truth of that relationship revealed to us today. Rajendra Kumar Mahini Mahadev Pujari. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much. Now we're going to move to our new book that we're starting to read today, and it's called Evolve. It's a 2-minute wisdom by Guru Maharaj. Evolve is based on various talks given by His Holiness Raghunath Swami. This is neither an exact transcription nor an overly corrected version. It is an attempt to retain the spirit of the talk and present the content in a systematic fashion. We hope that the readers will enjoy reading the book and will be enlightened in the topics addressed. We're going to start with introduction. Rajaseva Prabhu, would you like to begin, please?
Hare Krishna Maji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Introduction. Evolution conveys change, growth, and elevation. When seen from a biological perspective, it conveys evolution of species from lower to higher abilities. A diametrically different way of seeing evolution is to see it from the perspective of evolution of consciousness. In biological evolution, the change biological evolution, the change. I think. Krishnaji, can you just move back? Move back. Thank you, Mataji. In biological evolution, the change happens externally, but in the evolution of consciousness, the change happens internally. Handling external changes is a task of nature, and handling internal changes is a task of the spirit. Biologically, evolution may be debatable, but in terms of consciousness, evolution can be experienced. Evolve is a book which helps us handle and make internal changes and thus facilitate the evolution of our consciousness. Evolve is about growing lotuses in a desert. How can lotuses grow in a desert? A heart which is fearful of uncertainties lacks confidence, negative in its approach, always conflicting and having no goal is like a desert. Even a parched desert can grow lotuses if it rains continuously for days together. This 2-minute wisdom of evolve is like an incessant shower of rainfall on our hearts, thus facilitating our desert like hearts to grow lotuses. When one learns to overcome fear and tolerates difficulties, he starts living a life of self confidence and positive attitude. This positive attitude helps him to forgive others for their shortcomings and live with them in unity thus making life meaningful and making one's own destiny beautiful. This is the series in evolution. When one does not have wisdom, one behaves like a leaf of touch-me-not plant, which shrinks in its leaves at the slightest touch of a drop of water. The drop of water is compared to calamities that come into our life. When one becomes like a touch-me-not plant, one becomes sensitive to even small provocations. One starts whining at small things, shrinks when calamities come, and blasts those who touch him. Evolve deposits a waxy coating of wisdom on the leaf of your life. When one has abundant wisdom, one behaves like a leaf of a lotus plant. The same drop of water which could shrink the leaf of a touch me not plant does not even stay on the surface of a lotus leaf. The drop immediately slides down the leaf. The flow of water does not even leave a scar on the leaf, as if water never even fell on the leaf. Similarly, for one who has wisdom in his life, calamities do not affect him and they do not even leave scars of nightmare. Thus, evolve signifies the evolution from a touch me not leaf to a lotus leaf. This book will act as a guide for the seeker. Pick it, read it, follow it, and feel the guidance of the divine in your lives. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Bharti, Sharma Mataji,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Achieving self-confidence. It is well known that self-confidence is a very essential ingredient for success in any field of life. Without such confidence, we are afraid to take risks and we don't have the courage to explore higher horizons while performing our deeds within this world. Real self confidence is not based on our achievements or our success in this world, but it is based on the fulfillment of who we are, what our purpose is, and what we represent to ourselves, to our families, and to the world around us. If a person has such self confidence, then he can generate faith and confidence in others. To fail is not much of a loss. To lose one's character and integrity is a major loss to our inner life. A person with proper disposition and attitude is willing to accept even major failures in the eyes of the world in order to preserve the high values that he or she believes in. If we are willing to sell our ideals, our Mataji, next page. Ethics, our character, our integrity, and our very soul for the adoration of this world, then our so-called self-confidence will be built on foundation of sand. It has no real substance and it can bring us no real fulfillment.
Hare Krishna, thank you so
Reason
much,
for low
Mataji. Sorry,
self-esteem.
excuse me, Mataji. Let's give a word to next devotee. Thank you so much for reading. Adinarayan Prabhu, could you kindly continue, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Reasons for low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is one of the biggest problem in the world, not only for the apparently downtrodden people, but even for people in very high positions of control. Low self-esteem really means a lack of real contentment within one's inner life. People with low self-esteem like to gossip. Why? Because that is what gives them pleasure. They do not have any substance inside. On the other hand, self-confident people speak of their ideals in life and not of the faults of others. A person with low self-esteem is quick to criticize others, whereas a person with some inner fulfillment is respectful to others, and he is naturally longing to show respect to others, to be caring toward others. A person with low self-esteem is arrogant. He thinks, I have done this, I have conquered these nations, I have made these millions, I have won these tournaments, and so on. Such people are very eager to try to convince other people of how great they are, how successful they are, and what they have. accomplished within this world. However, a person with actual self confidence is humble. Why? Because he simply doesn't need to impress people with cheap words of conceit. If you're actually very weak within you, have to brag about whatever great or little things you have done to try to get the approval, the recognition, and the adoration of others. But if you have inner fulfillment, if you have confidence in yourself, you don't need that. Once a sage in Himalayas told me that when you do something good and you tell somebody about what you do, then by telling you exhaust most of the credits of what you have done. However, in the world today, we want to take credit for what we have not done, and we want to give blame to others for what we have done. This is another quality of a person with low self esteem. He makes excuses and blames others for their apparent shortcomings. Whereas a person with self confidence doesn't make excuses, doesn't blame others, and take responsibility for what he has done or what he has not done, and always tries to improve. Persons with low self esteem are dependent on the appreciation, praise, and approval of others, whereas a person with self confidence is willing to speak what is true and do what is right, even if it is very unpopular. Especially for the youth in the world, today association is such powerful influence. Most people smoke cigarette, drink alcohols, and do all illicit things, not simply because they really want to do it, but because they want to look cool and be accepted by the people around them. By integrity, integrity means we understand what is right and we do it, even if people criticize us, even if people make joke or laugh at us. Eventually, those some people will come to us when they are in trouble because they understand that here is a person with integrity. Those with low self esteem are easily jealous about other success. What is jealousy? That means we are so hollow, so empty within. There is so much lack of fulfillment about our worth, our values, and who we are that we actually have to feel a type of hatred and jealousy toward others who appears to be better. A, a person with real self confidence is the well wisher of everyone. He is not concerned with his reputation, but is concerned with his character. He is not so concerned with what he can get and what he can one prove to others by his fashion, by his speech, by the type of furniture he has in his home, but is more concerned with what he is giving to others. Actual self confidence doesn't mean we become absorbed in our egoistic self. The art of real self confidence is to become selfless because in becoming selfless there is inner fulfillment.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Madhuri.
Nalini Mataji, could you continue, please?
Yes, Mataji. Influence of upbringing. Many of the problems with self esteem are due to how we are treated when we are a child. If a parent is harsh towards the child, always criticizing the child, not giving proper encouragement or care to the child, then the child feels worthless. He feels, sorry, Mataji. He feels no inner value. If a parent shows love for the child, even when they make a mistake, discipline the child, but in a way that the child is always assured and reassured of their love, their care, and their concern, invest so many encouraging words 10, 20, 30 times before they'll give one critical word, then the child feels some value. The parent should also teach the child how to make decisions and not depend on others for everything. In the ancient Vedic text, there is a very interesting story of a little 5-year-old boy, Dhruva. His father was the king of the world. Dhruva went through a major psychological trauma. For a little boy, his role model is his father. The approval of the father is so deeply meaningful and necessary. So Dhruva just wanted the affection of his father. He was climbing up on his father's lap as he was sitting on the throne. His stepmother chastised him. You have no right to sit on the throne of your father because you are not born of my womb. Those words were like a cutting dagger to the soft, innocent heart of little Dhruva. He turned to his father, but he could not help him. He was devastated. His lips were trembling. Tears were pouring from his eyes. He was psychologically disturbed. Dhruva wanted revenge. He ran to his mother and said, I want a kingdom bigger and greater than my father. She was a very innocent, simple, and pure hearted lady. She said, I have heard that great sages get all their desires fulfilled by worshipping the Lord. So Dhruva, with great determination, went into the forest and engaged in severe austerities and the process of chanting God's holy names. After just about 5 months, he became so purified that he actually saw the Lord standing right in front of him. The Lord told him, I will give you a kingdom greater than your father or even your grandfather. Dhruva said, now I don't want those things. Seeing you, now I am feeling inner fulfillment. I am feeling actual self confidence. I just want to be the servant of your servants and never forget you. I just want to live by your principles. I was looking for broken pieces of glass in the form of fame, power, wealth, and control within this world, but I found the rare jewel of inner peace, contentment, and love from seeing you and serving you. I want nothing else. He didn't care what anyone thought. He was only concerned with living by the truth, character, and integrity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you very much.
Um, Rachna, Mataji,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
more of faith. So it is very important to understand that real self confidence is not simply about what we have achieved and what we have conquered. Because that kind of self confidence doesn't bring any real inner accomplishment. Whatever we do, we always have to have more and more. Real self confidence is when we are actually finding fulfillment and satisfaction with who we are and what we represent within this world. Some fools may think that this type of self confidence, this type of inner peace, is an impediment to making great strides of achievements in this world. However, the opposite is true. The purer our motives, the greater courage and faith we will have to accomplish things way beyond the horizon of even our imagination. When we have such inner self confidence, anything we pursue is actually easy. It may be difficult mentally and it may be difficult physically. But when we have the will, the confidence, and the faith that makes anything easy. Bhagavad Gita teaches that we should be attached to performing our duty, but we should not be attached to the fruits of our actions. Success or failure, honor or dishonor, victory, victory or defeat. If we are too much attached and become depressed by failure, we can't really succeed. There is a famous story of a woman named Wilma Rudolph from Tennessee in America. In her early childhood, she had very serious injury in her legs, which were untreatable by medicine. In fact, the specialist doctor told her, you will never be able to put your foot on the floor for your whole life. You will never be able to take a single step. You just have to confine yourself to a wheelchair till you die. She was just a little child, but she told her mother, I want to run on these legs and be the fastest woman on earth. The doctors were amused at her imaginations because medically her case had no hope. But her mother told her, one gets one's ability from God. Just persevere and have faith and do not be discouraged. It took a couple of years, and she was actually able to take off all those medical facilities, cast, and everything else that was protecting her foot. She took her first step and started to walk slowly. Soon she went to school and entered into a race, but she lost. Not only did she lose, but she came in last place. way behind everyone else. People were laughing at her, ridiculing her. What are you doing in this race? Another race, but again last place, way behind everyone else. Every race last place, but she had faith. I can do great things by the help of God if I persevere. Some year later, in 1960, she won three Olympic gold medals and set world record for running. So her self confidence was not based upon her success or achievements. Her self confidence was based on faith in God and her faith in herself. Whatever I win or lose, let it be. I'm going to try. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What a wonderful story. Thank you so much for reading, Mataji. Mataji Shraddha, could you continue, please? And
Hare
thank you, dear
Krishna
devotees, for
Mataji.
switching on your cameras. So wonderful to see you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the opportunity. Confidence in eternal self. Every single human being within the world has every reason to find inner fulfillment because we are part of God. We have such wonderful value as human beings. Whether we are big or small, we all have the opportunity to do something wonderful. The Lord sees within the heart what is our honesty, what is our ideal, what is our sincerity, what is our integrity. Real self confidence is based on that sincerity. Bhagavad Gita explains that the material elements of this world are earth, water, fire, air, ether, which are the gross elements, but then there are the subtle elements, the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego. They are all temporary. They are all illusory because our true self is distinct. We are eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. We are all parts and parcel of the spirit. That is our real nature. So, to build our self confidence on the foundation of the lower self, Ahankar is foundational to material illusion that is a cause of all suffering. Because most people actually build their self confidence based on the lower self. So the real self confidence it brings inner fulfillment and actually gives us real courage to do the right thing in this world in a wonderful way is confidence in our eternal self. Who are we? What is our real purpose in life? Why are we here? Why are we suffering? What is really the best thing we can do for ourselves, our families, and for the world? The soul by nature, constitutionally and eternally, is meant to love. That's why world is so mad to express their love, channel this propensity to love towards someone, somewhere, and somehow. The kind of songs people listen to, the kind of novels people read, the kind of movies people watch, the subject matter of most of them is love stories. People are trying to find some means to find inner satisfaction through expressing this insatiable energy to love and to be loved, which is our nature. Only one who has awakened the propensity to love within the heart can achieve the real peace. So, as we come closer to awakening that love, we are actually making real progress in life. Therefore, faith is so very critical. There is a bee called the bumblebee. They are very big and black, and they have tiny little wings. Now, according to scientists, it is actually impossible for the bee to fly according to all the laws of aerodynamics because their wings are so tiny and thin, and their bodies are so big and heavy. However, they just fly around so effortlessly because they have faith. They have seen all the other bees. How to see? Flying, so they just fly. But technically, scientifically, aerodynamically, impossible. Faith is so incredible that when we have faith in the inner higher self, when we have faith in the connection with the supreme energy and power of God, we can do incredible things with complete confidence, enthusiasm, and perseverance. And even if we fail a million times, it doesn't matter because we know we are pleasing the Lord by our actions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Utpal, Pandya.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. Endeavor with enthusiasm and patience. In China, there is a type of bamboo tree that you have to water every day. When you plant that seed, nothing even comes out of the ground. There is no growth for the whole first year. Now, what would you do if you are planting a bamboo tree and water that bamboo tree for 365 days with nice water, and there is not even a slightest movement? The second year, no movement. The third year, no movement. Fourth year, nothing. Why waste any more water on this lazy tree? Nevertheless, the people have faith. They keep watering the tree, and this particular tree in the fifth year, within 6 weeks, grows some 90 feet. So we can understand life very much through nature. It's not that we always get immediate results for what we do. One of the symptoms of faith is patience. In fact, how to combine enthusiasm with patience is a great art, because if you don't have enthusiasm, nothing will ever happen. But if you don't have faith, you will give up if you do not see immediate results. Just like raising a child, you don't see many results initially. However, little by little, if you raise a child with proper disposition and values, your child can grow up and be a leader of humanity, which takes years of patience. The success is not the external appearance that I have attained this. Real success is your attitude that you have faith, and with that faith, if you are doing the right thing, you know, I am doing something wonderful for God and for the world, and the results will come, and how they come, that is beyond my control. Pandavas remained faithful to Krishna although they were banished to the forest for 12 years. Although they lost everything, but they always had faith with whatever is meant to be will be. And they persevered. When proper time came, they fought the battle of Kurukshetra, and ultimately they were the kings. That's enthusiasm and patience. There is no greater self confidence than faith in the power, the glory, in the grace of the Supreme.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mother Chaitanya,
Yeah. Hare
please.
Krishna, Master.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Uh, Patience is a great art because if you don't have enthusiasm, is that where you have to read from, Mataji?
Now, from the bottom on the right, access higher power.
Wait, let me see.
Or Mataji Lakshmi Jai highlighted for you.
Pandamas remain real success. Mataji, where are you saying? Can you just move it till there?
It's highlighted in yellow. Access
Okay.
higher power.
Okay. Access higher power. The original people that Lord Jesus Christ made into his devotees was simply uneducated fishermen. Peter and Andrew were just fishing. Fishermen are not very intellectual people. They are just very simple people. However, he imbibed within their hearts such faith that they were giving lectures, they were defeating all kinds of arguments, and they were convincing not only common simple people, but even scholars to surrender their lives to their mission and their religion. How were they able to do that? That's because they were not the doers. Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, I am the ability in man, I am the strength of the strong, I am the intelligence of the intelligent. If they can be just instruments to access that power, that mercy, and that love, what can we do is simply incredible. And the hope to just be such an instrument is incredibly wonderful. It is the ultimate fulfillment in life. Those who don't want recognition, God gives the greatest recognition. That is spiritual logic. If you want to be famous and great, God will make you famous and great. But then He will just cut you right down. However, if you just want to serve with sincerity, God will make you famous and great for the whole world forever. You simply should be sincere. My spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, came to the Western world just with $7. It took 1 month on a cargo ship. He was 70 years old. He had several heart attacks and he had no contacts who were interested in helping him. Practically for almost the first year there was no success. Everything he did was just taken away. He was living like in a little flat with somebody and that person went crazy and kicked him out.
He was doing some typing of some articles and books, and his typewriter and manuscript was stolen. He was living unknown and in poverty. He was writing to India to politicians, industrialists, other saints, well wishers, and pious people, but everybody wrote back the same thing: it's impossible, just come back. He had no encouragement from anyone. He was preaching to a generation that absolutely rejected the culture of anyone above them in age. What a difficult situation. Where did he get the self confidence to pursue such an absolutely impossible mission? Prabhupada had complete confidence, total self confidence based on his faith and based on his humility. Krishna tells Arjun in Gita, whether you win or lose, that's not important. What is important is that you perform your duty with the right attitude. Prabhupada lived Gita, and soon he was developing a worldwide movement. When we have faith in that higher power, it can carry us across oceans of obstacles, and we can never be discouraged. In Vedic texts, the story of another 5-year-old boy named Prahlad, what self confidence he had. His father was such a powerful demoniac person and such a confirmed atheist that he actually hated God, hated religion, outlawed it, and severely punished anyone who followed it. However, little Prahlad was fully devoted to God. This outraged his father, who decided to kill him. He threw Prahlad off cliffs, threw him in oceans, threw him in fire, poisoned him, and tried to stab him with swords and daggers. But Prahlad was confident and fearless. Whatever I am doing, Lord, it is for you. That is the universal principle for all real spirituality. This type of faith and dependence on a power beyond our own and confidence that based on the foundation of that faith. How Lord protects may be inconceivable to our intelligence, but with faith we can understand it. Faith is not based on blind acceptance. Faith is based on logic, philosophy, and authority. Through such divine faith, we can see what is invisible to the eyes, that every moment of every day we can strive for what is inconceivable and unapproachable and attain it. So, this was Prahlad's self confidence. However, his self confidence was not based on arrogance that I am great. His self confidence was based on the fact that God is great. Prahlad had complete self confidence, but you have to be genuinely humble to have that confidence. Sometimes the people in this world are under the misconception that to have self confidence is to be arrogant and conceited. Yes, that is a type of self confidence, but lowered self confidence. You can achieve so much, but no inner satisfaction, fulfillment, or love. If our confidence is in God, then we cannot lose. We cannot lose our character and our integrity. It is very important to understand that it is better to fail in the eyes of the world and protect the integrity of your character and ideals than to hold sacred in your life. That itself is victory. However, if you sell that off for the broken glass of material success, then what have you gained? Something hollow, without substance, without meaning, without real inner satisfaction. So, if we maintain our ideals with faith and confidence in our own inner value, in our own efforts, in our own sincerity, in our own dignity, and our connection to the Supreme, then in the end, our life will be glorious. Choose the right association.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Space
Okay.
for words. Next person. Thank you so much. Punam Saha.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Choose the right association. The greatest accomplishments achieved within this world enlighten and illuminate the society rather than further the darkness. The soul is like the brilliant sun, and all our egoistic obstacles that come are like dark clouds. If we associate with people who sincerely strive to live by the spiritual ideals, who sincerely try to cultivate faith in the highest truths, who don't hypocritically sell their values off for the cheap distinctions of the world. That association will elevate us. In that association, we learn how to cultivate self awareness, spiritual awareness. Moreover, when we hear the histories of the great personalities, it gives us confidence and we want to follow their example. George Washington, the first President of the United States, was the general of the American army who fought against the British to somehow or the other get independence. He said that we must keep the company of people who will inspire character and high ideals. He explained that better than associating with anyone who has low integrity is to just remain alone for the rest of your life. Association is so important. We should associate with people who are sincerely striving for higher values in life and apply those values to our occupation, to our family, to our whole vision. A person who has self confidence and faith is always seeing a positive opportunity in every circumstance that comes upon him, and that gives life, enthusiasm, and happiness. Self confidence does not mean being arrogant. Self confidence can be born in a heart that's simple, honest, sincere, and humble. A heart that has confidence in the higher power that can bring us to the eternally liberated state of divine love and bring us glorious successes in whatever we strive to do with the proper ideals. That is the true art of self confidence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I'm going to end our reading here today. I'm sorry, Janki. Mataji, I didn't call you again. For a few minutes now to discuss what we heard today. Perhaps you have your own stories that um, can express more, allow us to go deeper in what we just learned. Stories of other people. Maybe you would like to share regarding the story that we read about Guru Maharaj in the beginning. These
Mataji,
wonderful
to
examples. Yes.
reflect what I read. It spoke that it's not people in think that arrogance equals success. If you're successful, you should be arrogant, or vice versa. But um, arrogance is not a sign of success. Humility is a sign of success and self-confidence. And unnecessary arrogance can be due to poor self-confidence, low self-esteem. So people try to overcome it by being arrogant or mean. So here they said that true success is also not doing anything wrong in order to be successful, but having complete faith in the Lord and being humble, because you know that Krishna is on your side and will always protect you. And whether you get material wealth or not, whether you get success or not, it is important to do the right thing. And that's what I understood from what that I read.
Thank you so much. Yes, to be good not in front of the whole world, but do the right thing according to Krishna's will. Thank you so much, Mataji. Rachna Mataji,
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I
Krishna.
with perseverance. That was the great, insight for me. The story narrated by His Grace Radhanath Swami in this book, it's really heart touching. That story of a girl who was told by the doctor that you won't be able to walk or run or even keep a fit on the floor, but she made it, you know with all confidence. She uh, perseverely she put efforts, and she started walking. Not even walking, she participated in the race, And though she failed for many times, but still she was such an hard worker that she won Olympic gold medals. That was really heart touching, and it really helped me also. From inside, I think that I used to lose, many time hopes that no, I won't be able to do. But thanks to Guru Maharaj, that from now onwards I will remain persevere and confident on whatever work I do. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, that girl had a fortune as well because of her mother, right? Who gave her the right direction from the beginning. Who should we put faith on? So that was wonderful that she had a faith in God throughout all this time and was trying to achieve it. Thank you so much. Mataji Shraddha.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Actually, the definition I read today of self-confidence is totally new to me. Um, being a student, yet I see so many success stories. This student succeeded in this exam, but still still many of them are suiciding. They are achieving one of the highest goals which many students aspire for. Many of them are still suiciding, and by reading this, I found kind of conceived this knowledge that Guru Maharaj is the most self-confident person. Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada and all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are the most self-confident people because in Maharaj has met so many spiritual leaders, but he still eventually trusted the supreme faith. He trusted the supreme Lord that he will guide him. He will let him know that what was his path, what was his who was his guru. So this definition of self-confidence is equal to having inner contentment by having a very nice, strong faith in the Supreme Lord is what got me today.
Thank you so much, Mataji Shraddha. In fact, you are actually the second person from India who is mentioning today's suicide for me. It seems like it's something common that's happening. I don't know if it's throughout the whole world, but or it's really in India happening so much. But
Mataji,
so
even in the US,
in US as well.
yes, Mataji, just last week, somebody we know, their son, 24-year-old son, committed suicide. His parents are doctors. He was doing very well. He had started a job. And they're also very spiritual, but he suffered from major depression. And major depression is something that people can get. It's like any other disease, whether it is diabetes, hypertension. People go and take treatment for any disease, but when it comes to mental health, people just don't want to talk about it, or they hide it, or they just dismiss it that, oh, it's just a phase, it'll get better. So it's very important for people to take treatment when they're suffering from depression, or talk to their parents, talk to people, especially their close ones. Parents are the best people to talk to. So within the last year, there were two young boys who committed suicide in Pittsburgh itself. We know both of them, both their parents, and it was a great shock to them. Just they celebrated Father's Day. The boy celebrated Father's Day with his father. He had started his job. He seemed very happy, and just a few weeks later, he ended his life. So it's very, very shocking and very painful for them. What they are going through is can't even imagine right now. So, less faith is important, and also not to neglect mental health. It's very important to talk to somebody to let them know how they feel, because there's treatment. That's all I want to say.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so in some families it is children, in some families it seems like adults as well, themselves, the parents do it, and then how children would live for the rest of their lives with that burden and with that trauma. It's also another issue. But from what I understood from Guru Maharaj, from what we were listening yesterday, it's how it's so much more important our spiritual education rather than usual education that we all tend to attain. Because if there is no spiritual foundation, then all the other things impossible to do all right. And when difficulties come, we find it hard to overcome them, and not everybody is ready to share their thoughts. We're often not so open with our relatives, let alone with other people, to share what we're going through. And yeah, oftentimes it is unexpected. People seem like quite happy. Not everybody seems like that they have depression immediately, but so our job is to go in the street and continue singing the holy names of Krishna for more and more people to hear. And hopefully by Krishna's mercy it will reach their ears and it will help them to change their mind or do something different in their lives from that point. Hare Krishna. See, there are some messages. Soft copy of this book. Where are you located, Mataji? If you're in India, I'm not sure where you can get a copy of this book. I got it from one devotee I ordered here in America. I have this book. Mataji Lakshmi Vijaya, maybe you can share. Yes. Oh, she needs to leave. Okay, dear devotees, I guess we all need to leave, but we'll write in the chat where you can get this book, soft and hard copy. Thank you so much again for being with us today. I appreciate all your association. Vanchakalpatarupyascha kripasindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, see you next week. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much, Mrs.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandat pranam.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you
devotees.
all.
Hare Krishna. Vandanam.
Happy Krishna.
Hare Krishna.